Hi, welcome to What's on Your Mind. I'm Peter, and today I'm going to give you our conversation with Eddie van Kalster. Eddie, his mission in life after his wife died in the attacks in Brussels in Zaventem, he is very passionate about removing every fear and judgment in people's lives. So we're going to talk about consciousness. Enjoy this very special man and his special mission.
Welcome to What's on Your Mind with Peter Snauwaert. Every week a guest talks about his or her story, and that story can inspire you to change your own. Here's Peter.
Hi, Eddie.
Hi, Peter.
This whole Corona thing, if you look at your life, what you are doing, what was the impact for you?
You mean on personal level most? Or
On whatever level you want to discuss it.
Well, on personal level, it didn't change a lot because I'm usually anyway alone, so quite isolated. So at that level, didn't really change a lot. I had more time to do my videos and to think about my project. I would say on society level, of course, the Corona is a very interesting challenge. And with what I do in my work, I like when people start to ask questions about themselves, about life, about society. So it's a good thing for my job, although it's of course for many people not so nice.
So can I say that you saw an increase of demand for people who wanted to be coached by you?
Yes, it's a kind of a strange phenomena. It's when the coronavirus was there, very active. It's not so active anymore, but when it was there were a lot of people questioning themselves. Now I have the impression they want to, to get into the old life again, and they want to do some concrete things and to pick up their life. And so at this moment, it's not really, I think there's not enough space for them.
Yeah. But I think you also know that it will hit them again, not the coronavirus, but that we call it form of awareness or self-reflection that maybe they should look inside to transform and into another life. Maybe the pain was not that hard enough or something. I don't know. Now, if you call yourself a visionary teacher. Can you explain a little bit what that means to you?
Yes, because when I started to teach, I realized that my vision was very different from the vision of many people. For example, I'm not commercial at all. I'm not doing coaching to have more money or to have more success. But my vision is really about bringing people together in a well understanding, greater awareness, kind of closeness to each other, kind of deeper approach to life situations. And together with that, I have a kind of vision. I see how it would be wonderful if people would do that.
Yeah. And you said when you started teaching, when was that? Are we talking about 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago?
Well, strangely enough, I started to teach when I started as a dentist in 1984.
1984.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because unavoidably people came to my practice and started to talk, and we talked more and more and more. And so at a certain moment, I received people for teaching. And that's how it grew with the years.
Okay. And how did you know or feel that maybe that thing or that philosophy is inside of you? How did you discover that? I mean,
well, I think I was born with it.
Okay.
And so from little child already, I was passionate by hypnosis. And then afterwards, I tried, to do some telekinesis. So I tried everything. What was not, let's say, normal.
But mainstream. Normal
Yeah,
is what
so
is
not
normal?
considered as very usually. Um,
But
and so when I ended when I started as a dentist, I read about Krishnamurti. You know
no.
Krishnamurti. So, and I recognized everything he said. I recognized that I felt this inside. So I went on with that philosophy and discovered other, let's say, wise people.
And wasn't there when then? Why did you become dentist? Isn't I mean this sounds like a life plan or a life mission. I mean,
Absolutely.
I cannot imagine that you were born to be a dentist. Allez.
Well, yeah, it was really a plan. It's how it feels, and it still feels that yeah, I was thrown into earth with a very concrete plan from which I could not escape. Um, and it was so much planned that some people told me, you will do this, and afterwards you will do that, and it came all together. It came, yeah.
But but then again, you became a dentist. Why couldn't you just focus 100% of your time on that plan? Or
Well, I suppose I also had the need for a kind of processing.
Okay.
Because I learned a lot being dentist. I evolved to biological dentistry, if you want, so holistic dentistry,
Yeah.
homeopathy,
Yes.
phytotherapy, I did electroacupuncture.
Mhm.
And so I think I needed some schooling also, because now at this moment, my medical background is helping me.
Okay.
I'm kind
But
of a psychosomatologist also, you see.
yes. Um, I'm going to ask you in a minute what that it is exactly, because I don't know that. I mean, but isn't or in the past isn't science completely the opposite of the things that you are being or doing? I mean, because science looks at the facts, what they can prove, and there
Mm-hmm.
it stops. Or how do I see that?
Yeah, you should see this totally differently, because it's exact the same. Is it exactly the same? Science and philosophy have just one goal, that's to know truth.
Mm-hmm.
And so, if you really go deep into science, you
Mm-hmm.
find the same as when you go deep into truth, into philosophy.
Interesting. This is very interesting. Now, you just mentioned, and this is also one of my questions, what is psychosomatology? Somatology, sorry.
Yeah, it's a link between the mind, the psyche, the mind, and the body.
Ah, interesting. Okay. That's a very interesting one. I mean, I or I meet a lot of people, and I also have been running around with that belief for years, is that the mind and the body are two separate things.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in Eastern traditions, they call it the mind body, and it's seen as one. And I think nowadays people maybe not becoming aware, but are seeing that, for instance, when people are in a burnout, that the first thing, because they did not listen to the voice inside of them, their body says no, and so the body will crash physically, and then yeah, people are in some kind of burnout phase, and then they will realize that they should listen to the signals that their body is giving. When did you discover that the mind body is really one and the same?
Well, as I told you, I did also electroacupuncture,
Yeah.
and then with that technique, we measure
Yeah.
the acupuncture points,
Yeah.
and they are kind of representative for the energy of an organ, also, huh? For
Yeah. Okay.
different pieces of organs. And I discovered that when I talked to the people, I had more results even by what I said than when I gave remedies. See,
Okay.
so the results of the talking you could immediately measure. And so I discovered the direct link between what I told, what I said to the people, and the result on energy level the meridians level on
Yeah,
acupuncture.
yeah. Interesting. Now, your environment, how did they react on your, you call it not normal, I call it another vision than the mainstream vision. How did your environment react on that? Did you had friends which suddenly were no longer your friend anymore, or
I had one very, very big problem, that is that I was always the first one in these things. I was a pioneer every time.
okay,
And so it took me, for everything that I did in the industry or in, let's say, psychosomatology, it took me years to be recognized.
okay,
And it's the same with the Proton Life tool. I created the
yeah,
Proton Life tool.
yeah,
The same. It's just now that people are, let's say, ready to understand, and with this virus coming up, people start to be more open.
okay.
But it's true. I had to wait, and I had some, I had quite a lot of resistance. What is normal for something new.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the mind body connection, are you? Can you go a little deeper on that? I mean, what are you exactly exploring or helping people with the psychosomatology?
Yeah. So maybe it's easy to understand that tensions in
Hmm?
life, they cost energy, and if they cost energy, they can make you lose energy in a very specific way on a
Hmm.
specific place on your body.
Yes.
And if that stays for a long time, then the body gets ill, of course, because the specific organ doesn't have the necessary energy or apport of substance that it needs. And so I started to make a map of the relations between the body and the mind, and the body and the level of consciousness. And that's what I put on the Proton Life tool as a kind of visual help.
Okay. And how does that? I mean, you speak about tensions. Tensions for me, it sounds like obstacles or things which are blocked in your system. Sorry, in your body. And that sounds for me like traumas from your childhood or traumatic experience that you had, which are stuck in your body.
That's
Is
right.
that yes?
It's all form of conflicts. In
Yeah.
fact, tensions are brought by conflicts, and conflicts are brought, for example, by traumas. I know very well what it is because I myself had a very important trauma, and so you have also, like, when people argue or society problems, like you see now with what happens in America, and so all these are tensions, are conflicts,
Mm-hmm.
and conflicts cost energy to the body.
Yeah.
When you're happy, then the body gets energy, it gets even some hormones, and you feel better, and you have more energy to do things, to get into action, and that makes everything better. Of course, it's a snowball effect, and
It sounds to me very much like a body, and a body can also be multiple people representing an organism, which is also maybe a body because we're all interconnected, like in an ecosystem. But it's really resonates to me like when there are tensions, the body is in some kind of freeze modus. But when these blockages are removed, the water can flow. So the energy can flow through your body, which is like the optimal receiver, I would call it, the optimal, the real way of living instead of holding on to all these traumas which we think are normal to us.
yeah. Yeah, the traumas or conflicts make that the mind is crystallized.
Yeah.
Like a conditioning.
Yeah.
Probably you know that word is an aspect or a thought
Mm-hmm.
or a conviction that is really crystallized. So for the one who is conditioned, it seems to be totally normal, and then you stick onto it, you cling to it,
Yeah.
and that makes even more tension.
Yeah.
If you could
Yeah.
relativate, then it gets more open.
Yeah. You just mentioned the fact that you also had one important trauma. Can you ask you what that was?
Yeah, of course. My wife died with a
Yeah.
terrorist attack in the airport of Brussels.
I'm very sorry to hear that. I saw it on certain videos.
Yeah.
I was, yeah. And you also sung for your wife. I found that, yeah, it's amazing. But please go on.
Yeah, I wanted to do this song and the talks that I had after to make people realize that there's a much bigger thing in life than just always argue and conflicts, and there is a way to go through it. It's not easy. I didn't have easy also. But it's for everyone. Also, it's a possibility for everyone. Everyone can get to something much bigger, even as a terrorist.
So this means that every person is, in fact, a good person by nature.
Well, if he is not a good person, it's just because he believes in some illusions, believes in conditionings that are taught. It's like like a story that is told, and you start to believe the story. But it's rarely true when thoughts become dominating.
Yeah. Now that trauma of your wife, of course, that changed your life. It has a huge impact. But has it also, I wouldn't call it transformed you, made you look different at things, helped you on your mission, on your life plan? Because things don't happen coincidentally.
Yeah, it's true that I believe in the fact that everything there is there for the soul to be helped. Although it can be very, very hard for the ego, and it is often, when it's not only in my case, but people die from cancer and from diseases or accidents, like in traffic, and it is life can be very hard. And for the ego, it's very, very difficult to understand that there can be something else, like kind of soul or common consciousness. You can touch and heal with it.
Yeah.
I was doing this work before already. I think it helped me a lot to go through this, but I wanted also to bring it outside more than ever, to share it with other people since the accident, since the attack.
Okay, so that was a trigger to actually say, now it's time to come out in public. Now, I also saw that you have written a book, The Miracle of Yours.
Miracle is yours.
The Miracle is yours, excuse me. When was the year that you launched that book? Because there was not a lot of found about it.
2010.
2010, okay. And what triggered you to write that book?
Well, in fact, with all that I learned as a dentist, afterwards electroacupuncturist, afterwards in the philosophy and psychology, I had suddenly like something that was coming into me, like I was ready to download something. And I said to my wife, I said, okay, let me 3 days. I feel I have to be isolated, and I went somewhere else, and things came into me, and I wrote them down. And in the end, after 3 days, I had the Photon Life tool. So I had this instrument that you see here.
Yes, yeah, the pyramid.
Yeah, the pyramid. Everything was written on it, like I downloaded it. And I didn't know what to do with it because I didn't know what it was. But afterwards, many people said, okay, you should bring it out. And then it was studied, and we did some research on it, and became what it is.
So the Photon of Life is actually mentioned in the book, or is it because I cannot find
the book is a guide to use it.
Okay.
With, of course, the philosophical background explained in it.
Mm-hmm. Now, the photon of life, the pyramid, how does it work? I mean, somebody is coming with you that you don't know, and you feel that there is some kind of blockage on their body, or you see it because you're how do you call that term? Clairvoyant, helderziend or something, or you feel it, and then you point to that to the tool, to the photon of life tool, or how
I
does
have
that
that
work?
transpersonal insight. I can see through the person. So it's a
Okay.
kind of transpersonal energy that I see. But I think anyone can learn it. It's not really something special. It's something that um, you make it more sensitive by working with the Photon Life tool. But there is also a real specific technique to go from a problem to a solution.
Okay.
And there's 3 steps that are explained in the book. I don't know if you want me to explain it now, but it takes quite a long time to explain it. So it's written in the book if you want to know how it works.
But just keep it short.
Yeah.
I really want to understand how does it work. I mean, do you get you see somebody and you feel, okay, there's something here. You point to the layer on the photon of life, and then you give an explanation and or something to do or to be.
Because on the Photon Life tool, you see a lot of symbols
Mm-hmm.
and words, and there are arrows and levels of consciousness. That there's the body, and so we start with. In fact, the healing, it comes by insight. The purpose is to have a clear vision of the problem of the saboteur. The saboteur is like the unconscious beliefs, and just to point out where it works on what level,
Mm-hmm.
and what is the relation between the levels of consciousness, the resonances, the illusions, and the body.
Mm.
So when you see the whole thing, there comes kind of insight, and you get into balance, because you realize that everything that is deviating from a good balance is like not necessary, or is like a bit not important enough to feed it.
Okay. But you don't have to know where the self-limiting belief is coming from.
Well, everyone knows, in fact, where the self-limiting beliefs is, but the thing is to
Let it
give the
go.
place, to
Yeah.
place it in the totality of the life. So if you know what is the interaction between your beliefs or your misconceptions and the consequences, you get motivated to get rid of them.
Mm-hmm.
But everyone knows. So I don't push anything. I don't say anything. The people tell themselves. They discover what's going on. I help them to discover.
Mm-hmm. And they do the process of transformation themselves.
Yeah. They do. In fact, they do all themselves.
Yeah. So this is of course a little bit the old way of thinking, because you start with a problem and then you do something, but in your case it doesn't work like that. It's not doing, it's being.
Yes, insight makes that you discover your real being.
Mm-hmm.
So we are human beings, not human doings.
Mm-hmm.
So when you discover who you really are, or what you really are, then all the rest is, you don't use it anymore, so you don't feed it anymore. So you have like a spontaneous life, and the action becomes spontaneously.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, I mean, I assume that a lot of people, that everybody has blockages or tensions. I mean, I can't imagine that you did not get any tensions. I mean,
Of course.
does that mean that people have to repeat the cycle over and over again because it's a layered model, so they are getting rid of tensions on a certain level, and they go deeper, and again they find new tensions, and they go deeper and deeper and deeper.
Yeah, that's a good point. But there is something also important to say, that when you heal an item through insight, it's because you understood the process of the mind, and the process of the unlearning, of the mind. And each time you take the next layer, because indeed there are many other conditionings coming up into life, and the purpose is indeed to be pure, to purify them. Well, each time you get to the next layer, you can use the same principle. So it becomes more and more easy, goes more and more fast.
Okay, yeah, I understand. Yeah, because
the beginning is difficult. Afterwards, it's more easy. Once you get the trick, it gets more and more easy.
Yeah, but because people tend to think that it's something you need to learn, but it's not. To learn is something that you should that you let go, that you unlearn, like you just mentioned.
Yeah.
So
it's not that you have to forget how you have to make a car or so, but I mean the psychological conditionings you have to unlearn.
Interesting. And who are the people that this resonates most of, who are coming to you?
The people that suffer.
Okay.
Can be anyone. It can be anyone. Usually because they have some sufferings, and they decided to get rid of it. That's the trigger. At a certain moment, you say, "Okay, I don't want this anymore." As long as you're fine, you're not so much motivated to clean things. But we see in society that, of course, more and more that there is, the insight coming up that there should be, that we should learn to unlearn.
Yeah, it's true. I think the biggest goal is to become who you really are, and to really find out who you really are, instead of some false identity of mental constructions that you have built through the years, of opinions and expectations of people, surroundings, school, teachers, parents, whatever.
Yeah, we are programmed, and it's a nice thing that we have computers, so we can realize also that we are maybe programmed like a computer, and if it's the case, we should do something about it. So.
That programming I learned from, who is it, Dr. Bruce Lipton or Joe Dispenza, that it's one of the two, that he explained that a child is actually downloading all the applications, the software between 0 and 8, something like that, and then his consciousness is closing, and then he's repeating the same patterns all over again.
Yeah, it's not exactly the same patterns, because there are new conditionings coming. So it's not closed totally after 7 or 8 years. In fact, every 7 years there is kind of repetition. But we can also say that we incarnate during 21 years, so 3 times 7. See, that's also true.
Can you explain that a little bit more? I don't understand that.
Well, let's say that all the conditionings we absorb until 21 average, and then afterwards let's say that the ego gets bigger and bigger until 21. So like young people say, I want to become, I want to be this or that, I want to become. And so at 21, we are manifesting the idea of what we wanted to become. So we get to society, we get to work, to maybe find a relationship, to build a house, to have family. And then afterwards, let's say usually at 40, 45, some later, it's not really, you don't have to see it very strictly, but it's like...
Of course.
We realize that everything we build up with our ego didn't bring us really very far, not so far as we thought, or become very rich, and then they say, but in fact, yeah, that was my dream. I have a big house to boats, and but I miss something. See, that's what is wrong with me, you know? Or I have a good wife and 3 children. They're all at the university, and but what happens with me? And so then they are starting to search. They are starting to search inwardly.
Mm-hmm.
So it builds up, not only after 8 years, but it's still building up, and the ego becomes much more active until 21 usually.
Yeah, but I had that. I mean, for me it's not 40. I'm 45 now, but it was around 34. Divorce. It's the same. You have everything, lots of money, beautiful wife, things like that, and still something is missing, and you cannot say what is it. And then then the misery starts, and also the very exciting journey. And then you
Right.
realize that you have put your ladder onto the wrong mountain.
Absolutely, absolutely, and you realize that you will die soon, huh?
Yeah, yeah. So, and in my case, it was actually when a doctor said 2 years ago I had 3 months to live. That was for me a gift. So, and since then, I really learned to follow the path of positive energy and follow the path of the heart of who you really are. And yeah, magnificent things are happening. I mean, then you don't have to search for that purpose in life because it's very simple. It's just to enjoy and to come close to who you really are.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine your son is how young is he?
He must be 30 now, about
Okay.
30.
Now, I mean, is there actually a way? I mean, the ego has his role. It's a survival mechanism. Um, but is there actually something that you can do when you are a parent and you want to create more consciousness, more awareness for your children to, yeah, I mean, I know they have to have their struggles and they have to have their pain in order to grow. I really understand that. But it would be cool if, I mean, why should we wait until 40 to get those insights? Maybe, and I am seeing that with some younger persons around 2025, they know already there's something there which is different. Is there something we can do, so that our environment, I'm going to keep it general now, is yeah, that process or that insights are going to become faster, that they are aware of that, so they
Yes,
can.
very simple. It's very simple. My advice is always don't wait.
Yeah, but Eddie, I mean, um, how do you? I mean, when let's assume there's a coach and there's a coachee. When the coachee is not coachable, meaning he or she is so stuck in his or her head and is so full of the ego and the mental constructions, and and he or she is hanging on to this, yeah, to these beliefs and thinks that this is me, and you are not going to change me because this is me and I believe this is me. I
Yes.
mean,
Yeah, when I say don't wait, I mean don't wait to inquire, of course. And the inquiry needs a very honest person.
okay, I understand.
If you are not willing to be honest to yourself, yeah, that's a choice. In fact, you have just one choice in life, and that is, will I be honest with myself or not?
Okay.
Because people that say, I don't want to know that, they know what they do. They know that they choose for themselves as an entity, as the me ego. They know that. And because they know that, you can do nothing. If they don't want, they don't want. You don't have to force it, you know.
No.
So then you have to get back to yourself and ask yourself, what can I do for myself? Not for my ego self, but for the whole, you know,
For who you really are, the I am.
right? Because if you really discover who you are or what you are, then you are very effective. You're as much effective as you can be, But that doesn't mean that you can convince everyone. Huh? That's also not the purpose at that moment.
No. But it's because you are leading by example. Because I can imagine you're now 59. I mean, if you compare yourself to, I don't know, when you're 21, let's say it like that. I mean, what is that impact of that transformation from a butterfly to, from a caterpillar to a butterfly? I'm going to call it like that, to come to who you really are, to your full potential, because that's what it is, eh?
Yeah. Well,
So,
I started very young, like I said. I was reading Krishnamurti when I was 22, I think.
okay.
So that's
Yeah, but okay, but you started then, but the impact, mean those were words, but words need to become really into you so that they can have an impact.
yes,
So
that
I mean, it's not like you're
great.
reading those words that immediately your life changed.
Yeah, that's integration. Huh? You need to integrate. Even you need to embody. You know, because first there are the words, indeed. Now you know as good as I do that some people just turn around. They turn their back to the words already. So that's a choice they have to do. You know? It's also written in the Bible. It's the same, huh? So that the dead buried the dead, you know, like this. You should not run after them. That's not useful. But when they are ready to listen to the words, then there's what we call an open mind. That's the first step. And that's, in that sense, science is exactly the same, because you cannot do science if you have not an open mind. If you're influenced by lobbying or so, you don't have an open mind. So real science needs an open mind. And then when the mind is open, then starts the inquiry. And the inquiry is just, but I want to know truth. Then you can be helped by someone like Krishnamurti or like any wise person like you and me. So you can be helped, but that's also no guarantee of success, because at any time you need to choose, am I going for truth or for my own personal importance? And this makes the process, if you choose for truth, you go into a process and you're confronted to live things like we have every day. And in every step that you are confronted with, you have this choice.
Yeah.
Do I clean it up? Do I purify? Or do I cling to it so I can keep it mine and keep my importance? And so be a kind of illusion, not being my real self, but being a constructed self. That's why we talk about constructed mind.
Yeah. Now, I mean, I've done a lot of things, and some of them really work for me. And the result is that I live lighter. I have the feeling that there was some kind of thing which was clinging onto me, and now it's gone.
Yeah.
So, and it's really, I wouldn't say hard to explain into words for people who don't understand that feeling, but it's really that it makes you feel, it makes you live lighter.
Yes, of course. That's why they called it enlightenment, huh?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fine. Yeah.
There are different degrees of enlightenment, huh?
I find it
light, huh?
That's a good one. Enlightenment. I mean, is that your goal in life, to become enlightenment?
Well,
or are you already enlightened?
Well, the person cannot be enlightened. See, there's no enlightened person.
Okay.
So the I am can recognize itself, but the I am or consciousness recognizing itself or discovering or realizing its existence has nothing to do with a person. So no one can say I am enlightened as a person. You know?
This is a new one. This is because sometimes you see like these gurus, I'm enlightened, I had this or this, blah, blah, and now I'm enlightened. And I'm like,
Right. So you cannot be as a person, and everyone in that sense is enlightened.
yeah, I know, because that's your true nature.
Yeah, that's true nature. So all of us have this true nature. So everyone is enlightened.
Yeah.
It's just that when you add to it these conflicts and these misconceptions, then it becomes heavy.
Yeah. We are in our own way, eh?
Pardon me?
We are in our own way.
What do you mean? We are all.
We are in our own way. So this means that that ego, that construction, is actually hiding that true nature, that enlightened thing.
Yeah.
So that means that we are standing in our own way. I'm going to explain like that.
Yes. So they believe in the ego as a fragmented entity, so not belonging to this light, if you want. This ego is like an image you have of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And so this image cannot be enlightened. This image is something something heavy, something of a constructed illusion, in fact. And the mind that is conditioned is just conditioned because it believed things that it was taught to believe. So it has no value on itself.
Yeah.
And even the belief that you or me are this body is also a belief. And so you can go very far into it, but as long as you think that you are a person, or you identify with this thought that you are a person, or you are this mind, as long as that is there, yeah, then you are still enlightened, but you don't see it so clearly.
Yeah, but also the whole Black Lives Matter is also the same, what you just mentioned. I mean, aren't there any people on the world, on the planet, who are benefiting from the fact that we have this kind of ego thing, that's consumption and TV and things like this, so that they want to numb us?
I think I don't know if the answer will be okay for a question, but everything is there for you.
Everything is there for you. Can you explain?
Yeah. So because everything you see is your own creation,
Yes.
it's the mirror for you to
Yes.
help you to see what your imagined world is. So it helps you to see where you can process to be a life of more light, if you want.
Yeah.
Everything that you see is there to help you to see your ego, to see the image of who you think you are, and to be conscious of this. See?
And this is the thing where we are fooling ourselves, thinking that if we change the outside, that the inside will be happy. That's the thing that they want us to believe, that, but it's just that other way around.
Yes.
When you
Don't
live
look
like
for happiness outside. Don't look for happiness outside, because it's the same as you are already. So if you look inside, then the outside will adapt, this law of attraction.
That's why, I mean, people don't have to wait until they die for heaven. Heaven is inside you.
Right? Bring heaven to earth.
Yeah. Interesting. Now, I mean, what is then your plan? You want to touch as many people, as many hearts as you can, in order to help them transform, to get rid of their pain, in order to create more consciousness?
It happens just spontaneously, so it's not something that I want. It's something that happens, and I think it's a nice thing to do, as we do today. It just happened, you know.
Mm-hmm. And going back to that ego again, I mean, you still have an ego.
Yeah.
But you are aware of it, that it's your servant. You are not run by your ego, correct?
right? So the ego is not a dirty word, huh?
No, I know.
It's the insight of what it exactly is, because we are all conditioned. It's not possible not to be conditioned, no? But it's like getting to work with it in a way that it doesn't make you important.
Yeah.
It gets no value. You have to work with things, you know. Yeah, if you get into a pattern and you get identified with this ego, you're not free. So it's like the ego is seen every second, if you want, and because it's seen as something that is in fact an illusion. An illusion is something that exists if you make it exist. It's like it becomes like something funny, you know.
Yeah, and it's like a child, who is playing and who wants his toy, and yeah, it's a child. Then you say, oh, it's a child, and I see my ego as my child. So it lets me do things that I if I would follow it, I would like, this is something stupid. But this also means that a lot of people identify their ego with who they are. But you are in a phase, you realize that there is some kind of observant in you which is looking to the ego, to that child.
Yes, let's say there are 3 steps. In fact, if you want to make it until the end, I would say.
But what is the end? Is that at the end of a life, or what is it?
The end is that there is no questioning anymore, or no seeking anymore, or no processing anymore.
Is that possible?
Yes. Yes.
And are you in that phase right now?
Let's say that it's easy to get into it, and because it's so easy, it doesn't play anymore if it's not there or if it's there.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yes, a very good one. That was an ego question. That's a good one.
Yeah, because you cannot condemn the ego, because who is condemning the ego? Nothing else than the ego. So it's as if it's there, but it turns around and kills itself all the time. You see, it's there, but it's not there. It's like the duality. The duality is there, but it lives in the non-duality.
Yeah.
See?
That's a good one. That's a good one. Are there any, if you would go back in time and you would meet Eddie when he was 18, what would you advise to him?
I would say, don't worry. Because you are already okay, you are already there. There's nothing to achieve, there's nothing to gain, there's nothing to become. So don't worry.
That's good advice.
But be pure.
Sorry?
Pure. But be pure.
Pure.
So be pure. So be attentive. Be attentive to who you are. Be attentive to what you call the image of yourself. So relativate. Yeah. Be pure. But don't worry. Because worrying is also not to be pure, of course, because then when you worry, you want to change, you want to become, you want to get bigger, you want to have reserve, money reserve, you want to have image for the future. So, all those kind of things.
But again, that's a limiting belief. That scarcity, that's fear of the future. And fear is again that ego thing which is working, of course, always wanting more. Thinking it's like the carrot holding in front of you and thinking if you get the carrot you will be happy, but the carrot is always in front of you.
Yeah, because the future is an image. If you think that you will become happy, then of course it's just an image, and you're not happy because you want something else. And also, as soon as you define happiness, you cannot get it because it is defined.
Yeah.
And the happiness is just in the no time.
Yeah, indeed. Indeed. It's in the here and now. And that, for me, that concept to get that, it's so simple, but at the same time, when you're used not living like that, because I always was living or in the past or in the future.
Mm-hmm.
But it just doesn't exist.
Well, you cannot live in the past and you cannot live in the future. There is only the now, but the mind can live in the past, or can invent, can imagine a past, or can imagine a future, but you cannot live in it. It's impossible.
If people, I mean, we're going very deep here, and it's quite advanced. If people just starting to scratching the surface, what can you recommend to start? I mean, is it like I don't know? Check out Eckhart Tolle. I just listened to a podcast this evening from him and Russell Brand, which is a very strange combination. What can you recommend to start? To start?
Well, it's kind of big different for different people, but
Mm-hmm.
generally, I would say search for the right values, because the conditioning, the mind conditioning, the mind constructs are not your friend. They're not the right values.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I know better, so like yeah, it's delicate to talk about religions because yeah, it makes angry. But just try to get real values. There are some real values in some religion, so pick them out. If you want to have a religion, pick them out and see what is really valuable.
Yeah, but
Valuable for good life and life of others, of course, life of others, not only your life. Huh?
I make the assumption, and it's a very no, it's a heavy assumption that a lot of people today they are not atheists, but they are not certainly not active practicing on religions, and that they are searching for answers, which of course with scandals and things like that, especially in Belgium with Catholicism, um, okay, it's maybe on their passport that they are Catholic, but they don't really believe anything. So we get rid of the religion and we go more for the maybe the universal laws of nature. What you're talking about values. I mean, how can they discover those values? Because I wouldn't say a hard time discover what my values are. So how do you do that or be that?
So yeah, maybe the time has come to think about new ways of seeing. You know, right? That's why I call myself a visionary teacher, because I think the time has come to put aside everything what is conditioned. That means that you just believe without inquiring.
Yeah.
You know? And it doesn't matter what religion you have. If you inquire really, you
Yeah.
will see good things of every religion, and you will find the real values. The real values are, in fact, quite simple. It's truthfulness, is it's love. You know, like do to the others what you would like them to do to you. So there are basic things, and they work. And you can see, of course, that if you say to someone else, I have the better religion, and the other says, no, I don't believe I believe I have the better religion, and you get to wars or terrorism, that's, of course, not nice for no one. I don't know who likes that, you know? So it's not so difficult, but you really have to be honest with yourself and prepare to want honesty, the truth, you know, and not believing what other people say. So it's indeed discover it yourself. Don't get involved also with everything what happens on television, all this news, and so you know, there's a lot of manipulation. You know that, huh? So the best way of getting power is to disempower people. And how do you disempower them? To let them have beliefs, you know? So be just a bit more intelligent.
No, no, that's the reason I don't watch any news.
Mhm.
And sometimes I get very strange comments like, "Oh, you don't know, you don't watch the news." No, and they see it as a negative thing, and I see it as a positive thing. Anyway, now, are there any role models, people who inspire you at this moment that you admire?
There were many, huh? So, okay, like I said, Krishnamurti.
Yeah, but now.
Yeah, still, huh? But he's dead, but still. You have Rupert Spira now. Rupert Spira. Well, I like Moji. I like Moji also. You have Adyashanti. I like also what White Bull says. You know, the White Bull channels.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Don't know. Never heard
Um,
of it.
yeah. So I think many interesting people are at the background for the moment. Um, yeah, some are famous, but some have extremely high quality of talks. But it's not a very easy thing to understand and to get out with it, huh? To share. It's not so it's an easy thing because there's one reason we're not used to it.
Mm-hmm.
We don't get the throat and knife tool in the schools. It would be wonderful if it would.
Yeah.
But that's a real inquiry, honestly. So the children should learn from very early that there is something else than me. You know.
That's true. And I asked, that's, of course, that's a very interesting question because I asked myself that same question this evening when I was driving home. Um, that specific question that, so my son, who is almost 3, he receives a car, a toy car, and immediately says, in context of somebody else, some other child, or some Boomba, it's mine Boomba. And of course, I want to teach him, uh, yeah, whatever. Why do you want to cling so hard on that identity? But of course, with an almost 3-year-old, I will have to use other communication techniques
Yeah.
to transfer that message because like we are now communicating, he will look at me and he will ask, I don't know, French fries or whatever, which I'm not in favor of, but or sugar. How can you teach that to a child?
Well, I think a very important thing is uh, trust, because a child trusts his parents.
Mm-hmm.
So if he comes with something like this, you can say to him, you know, that is not making me so happy, you know, and I know why, because I was also like that. So maybe you could change and try something else and see if it works, because that
Because,
will always be like that in life,
so,
in later life also.
excuse me, what was the last thing?
So in later life,
Yes.
you will hear you or someone else will hear me talking or someone else talking, and they will trust or no. They will say, okay, I will trust him, or no. But if they say I will trust him, then what will they do? They will try something else
Mm-hmm.
and see if it works. And that's the processing. In the work that I do also, I just, okay, try something else. I don't think your ego was a very big friend to you. Did it help you? No, in fact, it brought misery. So let's put it aside, try something else. That's inquiry, and that's putting it into life. And that gives trust, because if you do this, if you use real values, life is better. not only for you, for the other people also, and so also for you again.
No, that's true. I think that's where it starts. It's really having faith, trust, whatever you want to call it, that everything is going to be all right.
Yeah.
It's all right. Is there something else you want to share, Eddie, that we did not touch upon?
Well, I think we went very deep, huh?
That was my intention. I mean, I don't like the superficial dabbling thing, so I wanted to go deep. I really wanted to understand it.
Yeah.
I
Maybe it's
understand.
interesting to talk really concretely about what is happening now, because I don't know if you feel this, but it's like there is a higher vibration on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
And this high vibration makes that the challenge is bigger because people, if they want or not, they feel this high vibration.
Yes.
That's why they get very much in anger or in emotions or whatever. And this is an ideal mirror.
Yeah.
You know? And then the choice is so important for every one of us. What you do with this higher vibration and with this bigger challenge. Because if we go on in our ego, the ego will be much stronger because the vibration is so strong. And we'll get hell onto Earth. On the contrary,
we will destroy ourselves.
We are already destroying Earth in a way. You see, if you see what's happening, and so we will attract also diseases. In a way, you can discuss endlessly about how the virus came into existence, but the law of attraction is there. And so if we, as a common species like humankind, if we go on like this, like we do for a long time already, and we see that we are destroying the planet and we go on, then we'll get hell into Earth. Yep. And so it's so important for us now, for every one of us, to feel this high vibration, to recognize it, and to make the right choice.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll get heaven into Earth. And no one can do this for them. No. Everyone has to do it for themselves. And I think there will come a shift, and then, life could be hard for many people. So yeah. I want to work for that.
Yeah, that's true. And it's really about that making a choice consciously.
Yeah. You cannot do it unconsciously. That's what we're there for. Like the talks we do. I needed help also, huh?
Yeah.
Because I also was conditioned.
Everybody, yeah. I mean, I see it as a journey and as a destination. I see that as the fun part. I really see it as how hard it is. I see it as the fun part because, tomorrow, and this is what I think the biggest lesson of COVID is tomorrow it can be over.
Mm-hmm.
So you have the choice, or the decision will be made for you.
Yeah. Anyway, we have to be attentive to ourselves and to see what we are really doing. Just not do and doing and not inquire. And like we said in the beginning, we are human beings. So let's just be human. If we talk about values, just let us be human. No one wants to cut the throat of another person if the person is human.
No.
That's not part of us. It comes by conditioning, it comes by tensions, but it's not natural. We're not made for that.
That's it. We're not made for that. That's it.
That's it. We're made for happiness and joyfulness.
Yeah, and it's the same. It's the same that one flower is not looking at the other flower to compare himself and to see you're getting the light from the sun. No, it's he's just being there and shining there. And
right.
Eddie, I want to thank you for the very deep conversation. I had fun. I learned a lot. I hope you too.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. That's why I do this essentially. It's a lot of fun, huh?
I'm going to put all the how do you say that? All the links where people can find you. I wish you all the best, very good luck, and I'm pretty sure that our roads will cross again.
Yeah, I wish so.